this was a really exciting week for me. Uh, Typically, I'll have one or two students pass in a week, and you guys know I get excited. This week, I didn't have one, I didn't have two, I didn't have three. I had four students crush the exam, and I think you guys know some of them. Sarah is on tonight. She is one of them. The others were either in one of my other classes or couldn't make it tonight. But Sarah, I'm going to let you take the floor and tell us how it went.
Well, thank you. And first off, thank you so much for your support throughout all this. I really, really appreciate it. These calls have always been incredibly helpful and a definite constructive use of time. So thank you for always coordinating them, even when you don't feel well, because I feel for you. I went to the doctor Monday morning because I got sick right after the exam was done.
There's all that stress just leaving your body. Like you were just relieved to be done with the PMP journey.
I'm kind of laughing, we're all in the same boat, but I want to laugh because none of us want to be sick. But apparently, there's a bunch of stuff going around. So take care of yourself out there, y'all, while you're going through this. But yeah, it went really well. I'm not gonna say I wasn't nervous. I'm definitely nervous sitting down to do it at home. Kicked the husband and the dog out. You guys got to leave. Don't be on the internet, please. And when I logged in, went through all the steps and everything. And I'd already done all the prep steps leading up to it. Like they advise you to do the testing your system and all that stuff. So definitely do that, guys. Because when I pulled up the view system that they use or whatever, once I'd done all my photos and everything and submitted them to them, they have you, of course, lift up your laptop and kind of show your room and everything. And the video was freezing apparently for the first proctor. So she asked me to shut down the whole application and then log back in with the same code. And then I got a brand new proctor. It shot me straight to the front of the line, brand new proctor, same thing, just show me your room. I already have the pictures and everything, and it was fine. So, like they say on day 7 and everything, expect maybe some little roadblocks or bumps in the road here and there. But it seems to be pretty quickly resolved and everything, and things feel pretty comfortable. I will say this, I'll echo what Karen and some others have said. The first, I want to say maybe 8 questions for me were pretty significant. You're like, whoa, okay, they're coming out strong here. They're not messing around, I was like, should I flag them? I don't know. But after that, it's kind of like what Scott says, right? You just kind of take a breath and you're like, all right, I know this stuff and I know I can get to the 50-50. I just have to, slow down for a minute. So I started to feel better then. One thing I will recommend you not do, and this may not apply for you, but for me doing it from home, I leave my window open here just for a little airflow, but we back up to a alleyway and it was really noisy on Saturday morning. So it was super distracting because I was a little bit more nervous and heightened. So if you can cut out the extra noise since you can't have headphones at all, I highly recommend that. But yeah, I started to get in the flow of things. I will say this, there was only one SPI question and I was super bummed because I studied EVM quite a bit and felt pretty ready for it. So kind of mad at him for that. Like Karen said, there was definitely matching questions. One I didn't expect, but I guess it's kind of in the guidance, was under the risks. It was a matching one and the options were commercial, technical, external, and I think the fourth one was project management. So you might want to go back and take a peek at those because that kind of threw me for a loop. I really had to go back and look at that. But yeah, it's definitely a mix of, decently hard questions and then also some that I feel you're going to know right out of the gate. And Cody and I were chatting about it before. There's very few that was straight up definition question, unfortunately. So I mean,
all situational, right?
Yeah,
even what would you do next, what should you have done kind of questions.
Yeah.
If it's okay, let's kind of back up a little bit. Congratulations, first of all, for crushing the test. But I want to know how you got to that point, to where you were ready to go and crush it. So how long have we've been studying together, coaching for a few months?
Yeah, beginning of April, I think I started. I can't remember exactly.
Yeah, I can look it up while we're chatting here, but
Mhm.
it seems to be kind of like the average lately is like 2 to 3 months is a great amount of time to get really prepared.
Mhm.
What was your studying like? You went through the accelerator, you
Yep.
watched all the videos,
Did.
then what?
So as I was going through the accelerator, like other people have said, I started doing the data dump, right? Like when Scott would go over things in videos and I didn't understand them or I knew I need to come back to them, I'd start including them in my list. But every time I took, whether it be the small knowledge exams or the big simulators, if I missed something, that automatically got added to that document for me too, because I just kept a Word document going. And then I would go back and beef up the explanations for those items or look things up either in the pen book or go revisit the videos that Scott went over that information so I could kind of solidify it in my mind, right? Because yeah, I don't know about you guys, but some of those things, they're so close in nature. It feels like, you talk about like the risk register and the risk report and everything. So I had to kind of have those all kind of in their own sections and like bold things in their definitions to make sure I understood the differences, right? So stuff like that. But that really, really helped. I reviewed that document quite a bit and like Scott says, slowly but surely got to cross things off that. And also slowly but surely the test scores got better and better.
Simulator
Yeah.
test, right? So
Yep.
how did
The
you?
shorter tests were a lot. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead. I was just gonna ask about the simulators, like how you use them. But
Yeah, no, the short, I did a lot of the 20 question ones too, because I was pretty busy for a while now, ramping up with a new job. And those scores got better and better. They were starting to go a lot higher. But like I know a lot of people get concerned because they're like, oh, my big like 60 question simulators are only in the 60s or 70s. That's, I mean, the highest I got, I think on one of those was 2 days before the exam, which was an 85. But other than that, I was still, 65 to 75 range. So don't discount and think you're not ready just because those are in there. I think Rob said that to us before. Like those are some of those questions are quite a bit harder, I think, than what the exam's going to ask you. But I'm not going to say the exam didn't have a few doozies in there that it did. um,
simulators are tough, but they
yeah.
prepare you. They were helpful, right? Uh,
Yes. Absolutely. And it's the same format. It really is definitely situational. So
Let me ask you kind of a. So I'm looking at your start date here. You signed up March 27th.
yeah. Yep.
So exactly what? 2 months.
Yep.
Um, Here's the trick question. Do you think you could have gone in and taken this test sooner? And I mean, obviously still pass, but done as well. Like, was there a point where you knew that you were like, I'm done studying. I got to go take this thing.
Yeah, I think like probably 2 weeks ago, I said to myself, I was like, I think I'm getting there. I think it's happening. But you kind of have those doubts, right? Like, because you sit on the calls and sometimes you miss a question or whatever, and you feel like a dummy, and you're like, I should have known that, But it's not true, right? Like it's going to continue evolving. Your knowledge is going to continue evolving. You can't know everything, so you have to kind of like be in acceptance that okay, it may not be perfect, but as long as you get to that reasonable level of knowledge, you're always going to have your resources there for you too, right? Later on. So, we're a Google world, but but yeah,
You guys,
you're right. It was like probably 2 weeks ago. I was like, okay, it's time. Pull off the
have
band.
you guys ever heard the phrase? I actually just recently heard this. Done is better than perfect. I'm a
Yeah.
perfectionist by nature, and I will just keep waiting until everything's like perfect. And it kind of speaks to like the whole agile methodology and philosophy of rolling out software and all that stuff, right? It's better to get something out there to market than to wait until it's perfect. And I think sometimes I have to tell students that to take the exam, you don't have to be 100% perfect to go to this test. You just have to be ready. You have to be substantially ready. And I think a lot of students are nervous to like, make that leap. So
Yeah, it's like pull the trigger. Like you'll surprise yourself. Like I'm still a little in awe because I was above target in two sections and then at target in one, and I'm still kind of in awe. I'm like, wait, what? Like, because you're so hyped up. When you're taking it, you're not really sure. And
do you
but
remember which section was which? Was it the business?
yes, one sec.
Was the was the on target?
Business environment was above target, process target, people above target. And
Okay.
process was 50% of it. So that was big. But yeah, they give you your quick results right away. And then I think my full report showed up like the next morning. So
if you had to tell everybody to study, like if you had to pick one section or one thing to study more of, what would be your, like, where would you zoom in? Everybody's got their own thing that they need to spend more time on, but
oh man. I mean, the PM1, the Scott's resource, I know that's not one thing, but like, I mean, that right there, I mean, that is such a valuable tool. Like, between that and then, just that the agile videos themselves too. Agile, of course, it's still about 50% of it. So both of those tools, going back and because I rewatched the agile videos later on again, because it just, you hit it on what, day 3, and then it's like you have this big expanse through day 7 of mostly other stuff. And so, yeah, you really, those are huge tools in this study process. So yeah, I'm so surprised they don't hit the EVM any harder than they do. Like that. Oh, I was almost frustrated. I was like, I had that whole template memorized, damn it.
still good stuff to know. Still good to have on hand.
Yeah.
So everybody else on this call, ask away. Ask Sarah your questions. What are you guys curious about?
Hi, congratulations.
Thank you.
Awesome. That's awesome. How much did you study? And so you said you were started March 27th. How much time were you studying, like, per week, do you think?
Well, so I probably am an atypical student. Like, I was fortunate enough to start this like right as I was leaving one position and getting ready to start another one. So I was able to pack in pretty much days 2 through 5 in that big break between, well, I had 2 full weeks between jobs. So I hit it hard. I mean, there were a couple of days where I would do it for 5-6 hours if I could handle it, as long as I felt like my brain was fully engaged, because it's a lot, that's a lot. But I mean, Scott's entertaining. So,
Yeah.
it's not like it's, wah, 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 wah. That is not Scott, thank God. But then there were other days too, where it was like, yeah, I took 20 question exam just to kind of see where I was at and refresh things and everything. So it was kind of a give and take. And especially once I started the new job, which was on like April 25th, it slowed down a lot. I knew I wasn't going to have as much time, but I'd try to do at least, an hour a day and make sure I get in a simulator before I'd come to Rob or Scott's calls, right? To try to just keep ramping up for the hard questions as I was getting toward the end of this, right? Because it's like, that's when you really just got to start honing those skills of the questions and getting faster and all of that. So it's really committing to that stuff.
I didn't ask you about time management. So as far as getting faster,
I forgot about that.
how did it go on the actual exam? You're
gonna laugh at me. Like, I'm naturally a fast person. I feel bad. I'm like, Scott has all the, slow down, like you want to average and everything. Like, I edited that thing, and you guys know it's like they give you the full time at the beginning, and then it's just going to count down from that full time throughout the whole 3 sections. So it can be a little confusing, but like, I probably had 35 minutes left at the end. Like, I'm a fast person, like, so that, what does that average out? A little over 10 minutes every section. So I mean, yeah.
Did you go back through flagged questions?
Yeah. So cool. I don't know what that says. I mean,
that means we trained for that. That means that you got fast enough at the practice that you didn't have to go in there and spend a ton of time.
And I don't know. So. And to your point too, it's like you go through those 5 questions and you kind of just go, okay, I gotta just commit. Like, I gotta let go, because it is what it is, and we'll see what happens. So
everybody says the first handful of questions are really tough, and they're probably not any tougher. It's just you're excited and you're nervous, and you just have to get into this rhythm. And once you get into the flow, things start to become a whole lot easier. So
absolutely. And I think you know, if I could advocate too, I mean, those breaks are nice, honestly. It's nice to just get up, stretch your legs, like,
Okay.
you know, do whatever you need to do. Like they said, get a snack or do some jumping jacks or something. Because it's like, it is intense. Your brain is working hard, you know? So yeah, it's worth it. But
What else?
I'm still in shock. I'm in shock.
You guys know, I always say, and I think I even said last class, I ended with, watch how excited Sarah comes back next class. Like, you see people who are so stressed out about studying, and then, you know, you come back after passing and it's like the weight is lifted. I don't know, it makes me happy. So
yeah, I think you're all going to surprise yourselves. You really are. Like, I know I was nervous
You do
too,
great.
watching other people, and you're more ready than you think, for sure. So,
and I tell everybody, like, you guys are in the same class, the same track, the same path as all of these students you see before you that are passing. So if you follow the same footsteps, you're going to get the same result. Any other questions for Sarah before I let her jump off and go celebrate?
Sarah, how far in depth do you need to get with the IDOs for the PM1 view? Or just kind of know the flow, or like, do I need to really dig into them?
I would say, yeah, know the flow. Like, you know, I think it's nice. Like we've been going over some questions lately too, right? Like about like procurement and things like that, right? Like where do those things happen, right? Like where we're, you know, securing the procurements versus like controlling them, those types of things. Like just having that general idea of where those things happen. So if you can kind of tell this, like one of those stories to yourself over the PM1, maybe even print it and write it out or something, just as like an example, I feel like that might be a good way to solidify it. Because yeah, it's those are the ones they try to trip you up on, right? It's like, is it executing? Is it controlling? And you just kind of have that thought in your mind. Okay.
Use the PM1 view as a study tool. You don't have to memorize the IDOs. Use it to make connections between the process groups. Understand which ones are outputs that lead into other inputs. But I don't think there's going to be a single question on the real test. It's like a definition question. Which of these tools and techniques is used in the manage quality, you know, or control quality process?
It was maybe one or two, maybe. That was shocking. I thought it was going to be more. I wished it was more.
All right. Anything else?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was locked out of my computer. Did you take it at home or Proctor? Yeah.
Yeah, I took it at home. Yep. I mean, it was nice. I recommend, if you can get a quiet space, clear all your stuff out of it that you can the night before, so you're not scrambling. I shut the window because it was noisy when I was on break, and turned the AC on because I was like, all right, get warm, like, you know, just whatever it takes, right? So, but it was worth it. Like, I'm glad I did it at home and it was comfortable. So,
thanks.
Did you do a lot of the 180 questions like in a row to practice for the length of it, or not? None?
And I probably should have, because I'll say it is decently long. You are like, by that third round of 60, you're like, okay, here we go, you know? So again, like energy drinks, whatever you need, caffeine, I mean, you know, might be helpful to do that, because I didn't. And I was like, okay, just gonna tough it out. Glutton for punishment.
Well, that's awesome. I think, you know, everybody on here is excited because we've all been coaching together. We all, you know each other and become friends, but congratulations.
Thank you.
Super proud of you. You put in all the hard work. I think,
tried.
You deserve it totally. So we'll let you go celebrate. You know how to get a hold of me if you need anything in the future. I'm there for you guys. But I'm sure we'll talk.
Yep. No, thank you so much for everything, Rob. And go get it, guys. I've heard you all do these questions. You can do this. I know you can. So.
Congrats, Sarah.
Congrats.
Good luck. Have a good night. Bye-bye.